All right, so Paul, you did your testimony in the fatherhood booth tour.
I did.
You explained what it's like being a father, and also you explained a story about your father.
I did.
But sometimes it's easier to explain that when there's someone in front of you because it's more personal. So,
I would agree with
you-
you. Yeah.
so if you could please probably share your story
Okay.
again.
So I would have to say it was kind of two parts that I went into there. The initial thing was, my dad and kind of what my dad meant to me and everything. So my father ran a business, a local business in town, a restaurant business for 38 years. And basically, that's where I learned a lot of my things from my dad from working with him on a day-to-day basis. And he taught me the virtues of working, being respectful to people, treating people the way that they need to be treated. With respect, treat somebody the way you want to be treated. And that kind of helped me later on in my life. I didn't understand it when I was young. I'm 55 now, and I have a 23-year-old. So I kind of understand it so much more. It's come full circle. A lot of the lessons that he taught me, I didn't understand them as a young boy, And so as life went on, and I went into law enforcement, and which is very customer service oriented, type of business. And so all the things I learned from my dad at the restaurant, the work ethic, the customer service and stuff like that, just how to be respectful to people, really came over. So that's when my dad's been gone, so I miss him. I wish I could tell him, but that's just not possible, anymore. And so I guess what I would say to anybody who still has their dad, try to relay that to them as best you can, because once they're gone, you can't. And as far as being a father, I have a 23-year-old. It's probably the best gift that was ever given to me in my life. He's actually made me a better person, if you can believe that. Like, you think that it's more you're teaching them, but it's kind of twofold, And he kind of keeps me moving forward in my job, and he's a gift. He's a joy every day, man. So not easy.
Right.
It's a work in progress,
Right.
as everything is. But if not for anything, he's done more for me than I've done for him. And he'll probably say the opposite, but that's just how I feel. So I'm blessed to have the son that I have. I really mean that.
Right. You brought up amazing points. I would imagine, though, that you see a lot of parallels because you brought up how you grew up in the restaurant business and how your father owned a restaurant business, and now you're in law enforcement. You mentioned how that's a lot like customer service. So my question to you is, do you ever see any parallels, like where you say, wow, I feel like this is something that my father did, and now I'm doing it, but, 20, 30 years in the future, the same way, parallels.
Well, yeah, I think we're a lot alike just in our determination, and I was really strong-headed, and so was my dad. But I also think that the biggest thing that he really brought to me was, as far as the business, like, we lose sight of this, I think, in all of our businesses, is how we treat one another,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the most important thing that really I got from my dad. Like, when we were in the restaurant business, you're trying to make money, so you really want to have good customer service, right? So the bottom line is the dollar, but it's really not the dollar, it's the whole thing. And I feel like in law enforcement and just in general in life, that's kind of paralleled it, because I brought those things into what I'm doing now, and I feel it's well served, because if anybody's come into the police department and you're treated like you are, at the kitchen table, and that's how I felt at my dad's place. People feel more comfortable, they could talk to you. So I would have to say those are the parallels, and just my work ethic, as far as I go to work every day, and I just try to keep myself in a good place. My dad told me, go to work, you won't get in trouble.
That's true.
So
true, yeah.
I would say those are the parallels.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 more I could,
Yeah.
I could probably tell you that my dad told me, but a short story, I would say within that.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
appreciate
nice
it.
meeting you. Thanks a lot.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you, too. Thank you.